My goodness, boys and girls, do we have a lot to talk about. Holy. Digital content refresh. That's what came out as far as the military and social media and how they do things, and I know there are already some in place for the military, but I did see a statement from the Marine Corps. I did see a statement from the Army, and I'm sure it goes down to each different branch. They're already putting out their own content, but the actual document. And so I think there is like a freeze now on all social media posts until this gets reworked, reordered, put into effect. That's how I read it. And it could be different. It could change at a moment's time, but I doubt it. Secretary of Defense from the Pentagon released this on 27 February 2025. So dates back all the way January of 2021 to January of 2025. That whole block. And it's outlined and described in this document. What we are looking at is the memorandum sent from the Pentagon talking about the executive order and Secretary Hegseth priorities in January 2025 to all the forces storing America's fighting force. And the memorandum provides guidance for digital content refresh to align with the DoD priorities. By March 5th, 2025, components must take all practical steps consistent with records management requirements to remove all DoD news, featured articles, photos, and videos that promote diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI. All articles, photos, and videos removed from the DoD website, social media platforms must be archived and retained in accordance with the applicable record management policies. And I know there are already policies on social media that go around and that you have to adhere to, but this goes back and backdates everything for that. I could only imagine how long it's going to take, and they're probably working overtime to go through and remove all of that stuff. And then meanwhile, there's kind of like a pause, and it's like, hey, hold on just a second. We're not going to do anything because we want to make sure that we take everything out that was previously done. This order is going back to old executive orders to rescind what those executive orders did between a time frame and a date. I'm sure this, like you said, was planned since day one. And I think a lot of us are happy to see this and to get back to that war fighting mindset of who we are, right? And what our military is about. And I think through the process, just me, it's become watered down or saturated so bad that we've lost who we are. And then now we're going to have to put in this to take out all of that order or DEI or however you want to do, and to pull it out and then get back to where we were somewhat. I don't know how long that's going to take because it runs very, very, very deep. And you know, this, and we're talking about the federal government here, our military, the United States military, and you can't have any vulnerability, my opinion, in that will sacrifice your military or put other people in danger. From my experience and my reading and my observation, it's made us become vulnerable. They're literally giving it to March the 5th, and it's like, hey, it's not going to be a slow process, right? I think it's going to be quick, fast, and in a hurry, that it's just going to be done. And I think that's how it has to be if it's going to effectively work. Is there's no slow rolling it. There's no slow process. You just got to do it. I don't think it's for attention, though. I think it's legitimately caused problems. And now we're seeing the effect of that. You can call it whatever you want. And I like woke, and I get that, and I understand it. And you can call it whatever you want. Looks like a duck, walks like a duck, quacks like a duck. You know what I'm saying? I say that because you see many, many years down the road of what it did and how it can be dangerous if you do take that mindset. That's my opinion. So we have to do something about that, because I do believe that it was so deep down and ingrained throughout our military and our federal government. It's wild. if you really think about it, to me. And it has no place being there in the military, Like, I just don't think it's not anything new. It's just become more acceptable, and that's not how it should be. Everything, even from my time and others' time it worked. So why do we have to include all of this extra for nothing? That's the way I look at it. Especially in the Marine Corps, things will get back to the combat. And I do believe, and that's the whole premise, right? Is to get back to, it even says it here, restoring America's fighting force. Hey, we've got to get back to who we are as America, as a military of like, and I think maybe, just maybe, everybody was really wanting that to come back. You know what I'm saying? That pride, that dominance of who we are. You have good people in there, I think, and, all over, that are afraid to do something or to make a change because now they're going to get punished for it. And so, that's not the way it should be. You're walking on pins and needles and eggshells to get something done. What are we doing in the military anyway? What is our job? Is to protect the United States, to defend the United States, to defend the Constitution, to take orders, to protect the oath, the commander-in-chief. And if we don't have the base of that, what are we doing? Isn't that what we are? Shouldn't we have a warrior spirit and a warrior mindset of going back and protecting and being the greatest nation and being the greatest military and doing whatever it takes? And I do believe by getting rid of that, it's going to embody and bolster and open up, bring us together of unit cohesion, and we all come together for one cause and one perfect thing, right? Where we're not all against each other and trying to build cohesion within. And how do you build a cohesion in a unit or a branch of service with that going on? You can't. Get on one playing field, one mindset, one level. Just don't. How did we get here so quick? That's my question. DEI is inherently selfish. It puts the identity of the DEI claimant ahead of everything and everyone else. Yes, but it has no place in the military. That's what I think. Because we should all be thinking the same and have the same goal and the same mindset, right? And then once you put that in there, it takes the focus off of the broad mission of the military or your unit or whatever mission that you're doing, and it puts it on a person. And that directive, is, hey, we got the March 5th to get this out. All military branches, anything DEI, this is social media wise, anything DEI related, it's kind of done. Let me ask y'all this. I want to ask you a question, and I want you to comment and let me know. Do you think that DEI and the way we have recruited in the military has had an effect? Whether it's good or it's bad, but do you think recruitment has suffered because of DEI? You recruit DEI and now you have it there. But now, how do you see recruitment going forward? Really puts a strain on the military, and our recruitment numbers were down. The Marine Corps was up, but every other branch, it was down. So I'm curious, what you think, how that affected recruiting and retention in the military. And I've talked about that before in here and on the channel and everything about, hey man, we need some leaders to step up and lead this next generation, right? And to instill those values of honor, courage, and commitment and pride and integrity, all that into our youth. And then 20 years later, you see the product of what that is. I'm a product of what I did, 10 years ago? If I look back, 15 to this day, what I did then 20 years ago is now playing out in my life. So what you do, and I tell my kids the same thing, what you do now affects you down the road because you're a product of what and how much you invested your time and your effort and your energy to things 5, 10, 15 years down the road. You're seeing the fruit, or you're seeing the opposite side or the consequences of those choices that you made. I'm always mission focused. I'm always mission first, and I'm not about the social activism. I'm all about the military and what's good for our military and for our country and what we need to do to get the job done. That's my take on it. And I want to get back to that. And I don't want to lose that. And I don't want to lose the history and the traditions. And that's where we are. And that's where I am. And that's where I feel led to. And I'm passionate about is to bridge those gaps. And it's just not in the Marine Corps. It's the military, those young guys and the old guys and us coming together and, man, getting the job done for a purpose, right? But comes down to brass tacks, right? That's what it is. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe, leave me a comment down below, and let me know what you want to see next. Have a good one. See you next time. Semper Fi.